Alright, this is my video 1 for Game Engine 2 Final Sprint submission. In this video we'll be covering the updated functions from the previous Game Engine 1. Starting off just reviewing over the game object lifecycle. In the game object file we can see that we do have the submit exit and submit entry function, which returns back to the connect scene and disconnect from scene, which calls scene exit and scene entry in the game objects. We also have a new function, is registered, which can just be used to get the state of the game object in the scene, whether or not it is registered. See that in user code, the use of like in factories. When we're creating game objects, we can call initialize and submit entry. If we use scene entry coming back whenever we create game objects, and then upon death we also have a scene exit, which can be used for deregistration, as well as we upon death we report death to our manager, which will then return the game object back to the factory. Then we also have in the scene the draw, which is the draw manager process element was updated to include two different lists for draw and draw 2D. So the drawable object now has draw and draw 2D functions. So they can be registered separately for each game object. Oh, it's not on. So we have draw and draw 2D. They can be registered and deregistered for separately. Draw 2D will always be guaranteed to be drawn at the end of the frame, and then we have similar functions as with the game object itself, whether you can check whether or not you're registered for current states. We also have the time manager, which was updated. Because we have the freeze time, and we have these get time and get frame time. Upon creating time manager, we're just setting the times and the frame times to 0. And we're making the new frame time, but then also have a new just time class, which is just a singleton containing one function, delta time, which can be used to access the private variable frame time of the time manager, which just returns that, which can be used in the game to have frame rate independent movement. So if we look at something like the ally, we can see here that we can call time delta time to get movement that will maintain itself even if changing frame rates. And then we also have a change made in the visualizer. Here we go. So we now have a generic show collision volume, which can be used to show the collision volume of a game object, and then we also have specific show collision volumes for each type of collision volume: the B-sphere, the ABB, and the OBB, and then there's two different ABBs depending on what kind of information you're getting. This is with the actual collision volume itself or the min and max that you can determine, which this is something that's used by the terrain. We have the recycle command and a visualize all as well. So looking in here, we can see all the different functions. We can see the pool being used to recycle commands if there's any to be used. And then on delete, we're deleting the pointer and cleaning up all of the visualized commands that we create. And we have all these new collision volumes of the OBB, the ABB, and there it is, and the B-sphere, which all just come from the generic collision volume type, like that. In the next video, we'll break down the collision system as well as the new updated math tools functions.